How you doing, everybody? Johnny Guitar Watkin here with Abe Roy, the rebuild ambassador for Malibu until a few days ago. Something happened, we wanted to know what, so we've asked him to take part in the Eggtimer Challenge. Let's see what happens. Until a few days ago, you were Malibu's rebuild ambassador. What happened?
Well, as much of a surprise to me as anyone, but clearly there were some folks that weren't happy with what I was doing or what I was trying to do. Much has been said about how it all manifested, so I'll share a little bit about what went on behind the scenes. What was happening is there were a lot of questions being asked. I was being more openly critical about our lack of progress. We've had now, as of today, 3 permits in close to 10 months. That's unacceptable. We need a radically different strategy. We need a radically different way of thinking and approaching this. And I was being more overtly, let's just say, critical. I thought we were making constructive progress. I still think we are making progress, not nearly at the speed at which we need to make progress to save Malibu, save our city, and keep the residents from moving away.
Specifically, what is holding things up?
Well, look, 84-year-old Faye lives on that lot up there. Her house went down in the fires. When we were talking about the kind of things that are necessary for us to submit her design package to the city, she asked me a very simple question. She said, Abe, my house was standing here for the last 50 years. Nothing ever happened to it. Why do I have to go through all of these things? Why are they asking me to put caissons? Why do I have to do a contour topo survey? And here's the thing, Faye does not even understand the meaning of a lot of these things. And these things are being asked for folks as if we were doing a brand new construction, ground up. We need to think of it in the context of a rebuild. Otherwise, this process is just going to get so hard where folks like Faye, at some point, they'll just want to get off the treadmill and be done with it. And we're seeing a number of evidences of that already. People are leaving town. People have moved to Arizona. People are thinking about moving to Montana, and so on. I guess my time's up.
Let's talk about the city council and specifically the mayor. I know you have some criticisms. What are they?
Look, I deeply respect the city council for the job that they do. I mean, these guys are working a thankless job, and they deeply care about our city, and I'm very respectful of that. Specifically for Mayor Riggins, I think very highly of her as a person. I just think that the moment calls for a different kind of leadership. The moment calls for a different kind of leadership in this particular crisis that we are in. In some respects, I think that her time in the city, while it allows for her to understand the nuances very, very well, perhaps better than any council members, it also makes her a little bit more attached and therefore defensive of the process as it stands. And the process, very frankly, John, has not served us, is not serving the fire victims, is not serving Malibu overall. Businesses are shutting down. Our fiscal situation is tanking. The high school that we just built is just only about half capacity, and residents are fleeing. So this process needs a radical change. And at some level, I feel like her closeness to the process also makes her a candidate that may not be able to challenge the process as openly as what we need right now.
If you could wave a magic wand, what specifically, and I know you've alluded to a few things before that, but if you could what steps would you take to speed up the process?
Absolutely. Here's the good news, John. We don't need a magic wand. We have some very basic things that we can do we can enact right now. And the thing that I keep talking about is the review of the construction plans. We need to, first of all, stop dotting the I's, crossing the T's. This is not the time. LA City has put in their most experienced reviewers, and not only is that accelerating their time to review, but the experience allows folks to not focus on the minutia stuff that is not going to be immediately impactful to the safety and integrity of the structure. Let's not worry about those things, okay? Let's cut out every bit of extraneous redundant requirements applications such as, wave up pressure, or on flat lots geo studies or contour topo surveys, when the elevation is already marked, things like that. There's endless litany of stuff that if we take a good hard look at the particular property that we can do, and we can speed this thing up in an absolute hurry. Because what is happening right now is every time these requirements get sent out to our support system, it just takes weeks and weeks, for the homeowner to get the responses back from their design professionals.
What's the mood like in the rebuild community right now?
It's a combination of a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, and some level of resignation that's setting in. And that's what we are desperately trying to avoid and replace the resignation with hope, right? Because people, I just got a text the other day about, additional ask, and this person said, how long can I be on the treadmill? I don't know. At some point, I just want to jump off. And we are hearing more and more people that are saying, you know what, I don't know if I can do this. This is just way too much. Look, remodeling a kitchen and a bathroom is pretty hard for a lot of people. Building a house ground up, well, forget it. So we need to do everything we can, which is humanly possible, to invite these guys to make the process as easy as possible, as opposed to putting out endless number of steps, endless number of barriers, affidavits, notarizations, and this and that. Everything causes friction. It's taking an emotional toll, it's taking a financial toll, and there's only so long people can handle it.